Okay, so hello everyone, and thank you and thanks for the opportunity to present our work that we are actually doing at the Hanran Center for Social Sciences in Budapest and Hungary, and partly at Indian University in Bloomington, where I'm currently teaching. So in my talk, I would like to be a little bit technical and a little bit UX research perspective. So I would like to share the kind of the everyday reality that we faced with when designing a tool that is a modular data collection device and tool that can be used not just for one research purpose, but for many research purposes. Just very briefly how we got there. It's an interesting story. There was a computational social science research department established at my home institute, and we needed data. We had good relationship with telecom companies. We almost signed a few contracts with them, but then we failed always at the end. So we had to change the strategy, and we started developing basically our own tool. So we were kind of forced to do that. We later gave a name to this. It was Octopus, and hopefully you will see why we choose this name. So with this name, we try to grab the kind of the core functionality. So imagine the legs of the octopus as different sources of data that are collected from the same device and from the same user. So what is this tool in a nutshell? So I would say it's a modular system, which means that we can switch on and switch off different data collection modules according to the need of the actual research. We try to develop it as a general tool, so it can be used for many researches in a parallel way. By data collection modules, we always talk about passive and active. I don't think that I should explain the difference between this, but if I say an active data collection module, it means that there's a need for an interaction for the user, whether it's a survey, upload a photo, a video, record sound, scan a barcode, etc., etc. And passive modules are always the one that run in the background, and they collect some data from the phone, from the sensors, or from the logs that are available in the device, or we can also link external devices as an extra passive module to the system. This app, it is actually not just an app, it's an app, a front end, and also a background service. So in order to solve all these data collection needs, there needs to be a service that is running always in the background, which also means that we can collect the data online, offline. So it's a hybrid system. It doesn't need to be always on. And it's a kind of a design principle, and this refers hopefully to the keynote that we have just heard. So we try to come up with something that is easy to use, nice looking, and the idea was that we follow the logic and the well-known user interface of to-do applications or project management applications, where you have cards, which means tasks, and the task can be active, or it can be overdue because you missed it, or it can be completed, which means that you already interacted with this. So that's the design how we imagined it. And actually, the research that we are just starting, so unfortunately, I cannot tell you real research results from it, because actually we start next Monday our first big national representative survey and data collection using Octopus in Hungary. But at this time, we have 6 modules, and all 6 modules will be activated for this research. I will tell you in a nutshell what this research is about, but just let me quickly go through the modules. So we will use short surveys. There will be a big intro survey, but that's not in the Octopus system. That's a different system. In a web panel survey, we will use short surveys. We collect location data. It's a function of the tool that we use, that location collection can be a parameter. So all the frequency and the accuracy can be set by the module, and it can be different for every research. So we have definitely a privacy conscious way of collecting data, location data as well. We will use call log, we will use SMS log. I know much of the communication is happening outside these traditional channels, but that might be also an interesting data to have. And we will track the screen time and the apps that are used on the phone in both formats. So there will be a diary type timeline, and there is also an app usage statistics, which provides daily aggregates on foreground application use. One unique feature that we will utilize is the trigger function, which basically means that passive modules can trigger an active module. This is something that many of you have already done. So location can trigger a survey, like as you can see in this is set to the zoo in Budapest. So if you enter the zoo area or you exit the zoo area, a special survey module will be activated. And also time-based triggers are also possible to have with the survey, with any kind of survey module. Survey can be unlimited, single, repeating, so it's very flexible. A very important part that we are working on, and this is not a UI, but a problem for the researchers, how to have a detailed snapshot of what's going on in the system. So this is kind of the control room that we will use, that gives a snapshot of whether the data is coming from the phones or not. We can monitor the process, and we can check whether permissions are granted, etc., etc. Okay. Skip to this. So this is the research that we will use Octopus for. This is on social structure. So we'll use traditional social theories, and we will try to add the digital layer. So almost everything that is happening on the phone could be used to add the digital lifestyle layers to social stratification. And what are the challenges? And basically that's the main point that I would like to highlight here. Yes, it's here. So the first one is that, I don't know, many of you struggle with this. At this stage, this app will be used as an APK. So people have to install it outside the Google Store, which is a challenge for everyone, for the user and for us, how to explain what's happening and what to do and what does it mean that you are installing something from outside. Although it's possible, and we see to have an app like this in the App Store, so we are almost done with Google. We have to fulfill a few requirements, but hopefully this will be available in the Google Store. The big question is that on iOS, we will never be able to reproduce the same functionality as in Android, which for me as a sociologist is a big question. So how can we reach any kind of representativeness by this limitation? Then there's this Android universe. So just imagine that our app asks 8 permissions, and asking for these 8 permissions works differently in every kind of phones. This is something I think you know, especially in the Hungarian market, which is full of Chinese brands, and all have their special security and memory boost programs that have to be whitelisted again and again. There's user control and data collection, which is the privacy protection question. We are actually working on this suspend button, which is easy to do for the future. It's a little harder if you want to delete your data back in time, so how to delete the data on the server. And the two-way always-on communication that we are experimenting with, and this is mostly about sending out push notification questions from the center. And I think this is where I stop. Thank you.